Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up, but banks are coming for Circle and Ripple. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, look at this. We broke $4 trillion over the weekend, $4.01 trillion market cap for cryptocurrency, and the market is off 3%, and we're still over $4 trillion. I told you that money is creeping in. That pool, that liquidity pool is filling up, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin now 118,000 plus, Ethereum 3,800 plus, looking to touch 4,000. XRP at the number 3 spot is $3.53, and they say it is poised for greatness. We're up 1% on the 24 and 18.5% up on the 7-day. Range of price between 344 to 357. So we will keep an eye on this. Now, I want to tell you before we get started, listen, the president has said they're getting ready to unlock $9 trillion worth of 401k money and allow it for the first time to have access into crypto. Well, iTrustCapital's already been doing it, and they're doing it exceptionally well. You should check this out if you have not done it. Listen, what a power move it would be if you wanted to move your 401k over into a crypto IRA and experience all of this without the tax implication. Are you kidding? That is a brilliant power move, and you should check it out for yourself. But I tell you this, too, they got a new account called the PCA. It's the Premium Custody Account. Now, this is just a regular account, but it's designed as a closed-loop system, meaning this was designed to remove some of the attack vectors in crypto. So if you're ever SIM card swapped, like the co-founder has been and other executives in iTrust, and all of us have experienced an email, phishing scam, whatever it is, this account is designed for you to go in with your crypto, but only come out with cash directly to your checking account. This eliminates that huge attack vector where someone can't just get into your account and send the crypto to their exchange and account, and then you never see it again. So this is a specific offering to help minimize that threat. And I know a lot of people out here are long-term holders. This is all about you, and you need to check it out. So there's no monthly fees. It's a 1% trading fee. And if you're not into, it's not for everybody, but I tell you this, I am getting an overwhelming response from people who love this. And you guys know I keep my assets in multiple different locations for this very reason, for safety and security. And this is one of them. And I have loved iTrustCapital for my IRAs going on 6 years now. I want you to listen to these remarks here from President Trump leading up to what was the signing of the Genius Act into law, which was a historic moment. Shout out to everybody watching that and seeing that through. Let's listen to this. And it does echo Brad Garlinghouse, and it's loud and clear. 1 second.
Are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after many?
There you have it right there. This is not just about stablecoins. This is not just about tokenization. This is also about a new infrastructure and payment rails being put in place. I can't stress that enough because it's such a big part of this. Remember, Clarity Act is looking to be moved through and signed into law in October. So we should see a vote on that in September if all things follow through, according to Senator Tim Scott and the crypto czar, David Sachs. Now, to look at the Clarity Act just made things simple. If a blockchain is decentralized, it's a commodity, CFTC. If not, it's a security. And here's the parameters real quick. System value, and it breaks all this down. Functional system, open and interoperable system, programmatic system, system governance, impartial system. And all of this seems to align and describe the XRP ledger. Market price is driven primarily by utility on-chain payments, smart contract gas, staking for security, etc., not by promises of managerial effort and any published read and it says any published read maps is substantially completed. It says here, ordinary users can already carry out the advertised function, transfer value, run DApps, validate, vote without relying on the founding team. Open source software that can prohibit anyone from engaging in the system based on unilateral authority. The blockchain system operates based solely on pre-established, transparent rules encoded directly within the source code. No person or persons with commons control can unilaterally change the operation of the system or its consensus rules or direct 20+% of the voting power. No special rights for insiders. No individuals or groups can alter the operations or consensus rules unless such alteration addresses errors or security risk and is adopted through system or decentralized governance. So there you have that. Dispersed ownership, insiders own 20%. And it says, or dispersed ownership, it says here equal to, I think it's 20 or 50% total supply is held by public. I can't see that total number there. But here you just see very quickly here, trades on new CFTC registered digital commodity exchanges and brokers, CFTC market integrity custody rules, CFTC always does derivatives, CFTC spot rules apply, SEC keeps anti-fraud manipulation authority, so you get the overlap between the two agencies. Certification certifies a mature blockchain. SEC has 60 days to review, and it says silence equals commodity, CFTC. Primary sales security registration, token sale, fundraising, yield staking. So there, yield staking, check that out. Intermediaries, exchange brokers, custodians, the list securities must register. SEC retain anti-fraud authority, as I mentioned above. And it says here, path to exit, meet criteria, or file certification, migrate to the CFTC. So things are coming together here. And now we know with the passing of the Genius Act that foreign issuers like Tether will be allowed for a 3-year grace period to acclimate and get into the U.S. here. It says Tether says USDT is coming to the U.S. through Genius Act foreign issuers path, plus a U.S.-specific stablecoin is on the way, new reserves, Big Four audit, institutional grade rollout by 2026. USD Circle isn't the only game in town, and RLUSD is going to make very big waves, I believe, very soon. Keep a head on a swivel for the stablecoin wars. But nonetheless, I think Anders has it right here. And we heard a representative in Capitol Hill say the same thing. U.S.-specific stablecoin. So in other words, they're planning to launch a different USD stable for the U.S., not USDT. And I believe that is exactly right. Tether will have to issue a brand new coin from scratch in order to comply. And that was even said, I don't know if it was Tom Emmer or someone like that on Capitol Hill that mentioned that. So we'll see how it goes from there, but that's what it looks like. Now, Ondo Finance, who has been tokenizing the world, and says here, what stable coins did for the dollar, Ondo is doing for securities by tokenizing them, right? And I want to remind everybody that the greatest unofficial announcement and greatest unofficial endorsement, I should say, comes from the United States government allowing Ondo Finance to work with BlackRock's Biddle Fund to tokenize U.S. Treasury bonds. That's right, to tokenize the U.S. debt on the XRP ledger. To date, I find that to be the greatest unofficial endorsement out here in the world. And listen to this clip previously from an interview from eToro with Brad Garlinghouse here.
And I think that for XRP, this is even more important than potentially for Bitcoin. And we'd love, Brad, for you to talk a bit about sort of the strategy with banks, right? Because the strategy or my view of XRP was always, this is creating sort of a blockchain for banks to onboard the existing financial institutions into an infrastructure that's efficient as blockchain, but enables them to sort of transfer assets or between their customers, all of the fiat assets or other assets on a blockchain. So from that point of view, regulation and institutionalization is even more important.
Yeah. Look, I think there's no doubt Ripple has always viewed ourselves to some degree, and consistent with what Yoni described, as kind of a bridge between traditional finance and decentralized finance.
A bridge between decentralized finance and traditional finance.
And, said another way, it's like, okay, here's the legacy infrastructure with a new infrastructure. There needs, in our judgment, to be bridges between those. Some in crypto, I think early on, were really much, hey, there's going to be a separate, distinct, and it's going to be independent, and there's going to be, the one's going to win over time. And it's like, you're going to have a blended infrastructure for, I think, a very long time. And Ripple's really tried to enable that, as Yoni described, in working with financial institutions, enabling them to use these technologies. But really, if you go back in time, the XRPL, the XRP ledger was all about tokenizing and enabling the transfer of any type of assets. It was the first decentralized exchange DEX that was available, and we find ourselves, I think, and part of the excitement about what's going on in XRP right now is without the headwinds of the SEC, some of those tools and capabilities that have always been there are now unlocked in a way that we don't have the headwinds of the SEC fighting with us about it. And I think particularly around some of the tokenization of other assets and leverage of a DEX, it really plays into where the world is today and where the world's heading.
There you have it. Now, the reason I'm playing that clip this morning is because Ripple just applied for a national banking license. And we all know that there's a 120-day grace period now. But the top banking groups are urging the OCC to delay that banking license that Ripple and Circle are now after. Oh, yes, they are. And when we go into this is what they're saying here, basically. So this is where, let me describe it. Top American bank groups are pressing the OCC to delay action on trust bank applications by Ripple and Circle and others until full business plans are disclosed and stakeholders have meaningful opportunity to review and comment on the policy implications. So we know that they've applied for these licenses here, and Ripple soon followed after Circle filed. But then they come down to, however, 5 major banking organizations, American Bankers Association, let's know who the bad guys are, America's Credit Unions, Consumer Bankers Association, Independent Community Bankers of America, and the National Bankers Association contend that these business models fail to meet the legal requirement for national trust banks to primarily engage in fiduciary activities. And in a joint letter, they said as much, and this is some of the stuff that they said. The suitability of the trust charter for applicants is a material question of public policy. Granting these applications could represent a fundamental departure from existing OCC precedent, and the associations firmly believe that such a departure demands public input. What do they think the public's going to do? The public's tired of the banks in their pocket. What are they calling out to the public now? The groups urge the OCC to delay any decision until the public has had a chance to review more complete information about the applicants, business models, and broader implications of granting such charters. A postponement would allow time and hopefully sufficient information for the public to meaningfully assess the applications and novel issues they present, the letter notes. Look, they're fearful. Just as David Schwartz has told us this a million times, especially the biggest banks that sit on top of the king of the mountains, right? They don't want anything to change because they make money on the friction of the system. That's why they're doing this. Delay, delay, delay. Even though we've just seen legislation become law, right? They're still trying to figure out how they can slow this down. Well, you might slow this down, but you're not stopping where this is going. And again, I remind everybody, as I did over the weekend, the OCC is expected to decide on Ripple's application within 120 days. That should put us right around November. Now, remember, we just saw a FedWire, FedNow, ISO 20022 migration in July. And then what do we have in front of us? We have this November window right here. And then we also know late November, SWIFT does its migration over to ISO 2000022. At the same time, we're getting that. In October, we should have the Clarity Act for market infrastructure. passed by October. So we have a window going into the fall here that has quite a few things unfolding, and I can't wait to see how this goes. Again, this is a reminder about what's happening in November with SWIFT.
And what it really means. So concretely, what it means is that as of the 22nd of November 25, which is the date of the standards release, we end the coexistence period for cross-border payments instructions.
And there you have it. They're switching over to the ISO 20022. And then after that point, we need to see how long it'll take before they start phasing in the coding of stable coins, digital assets, and all that. And then it starts to be integrated into the system itself. So it's already integrated, but actually implemented and used, I should say. So, but it's coming. And I'll tell you why you know it's coming. Get ready, because they are. London Stock Exchange Group considers launching a 24-hour trading as exchanges race to extend access amid rising demand from small investors active outside traditional market hours. Here we go. Get ready, because they are, right? This is not up to us anymore. XRP is not solving a payment problem. It's solving a liquidity problem. This is fantastic from Vincent Van Code here. He says here, 14 years ago, they asked the question, how we create unlimited liquidity without causing domestic inflation. That's where a token which provides 100 trillion of liquidity comes into play. And you can never sell 100 trillion or buy it, but you can sure as hell exchange it for stable coins at a speed and rate that matches supply, no faster or slower. If you truly understand this, then you are ready to unlock the future potential of XRP. There you go. My 10 cents, not financial advice. And I am in complete agreement with him on that matter. And that's where I'm at here. Is XRP is about liquidity and easing the friction of the world, even though the banks are fighting to hold on to it because they make a lot of money in that friction. They won't be able to stop where we're going now, I don't believe. So Eggrad Crypto says, not even considering the measured move. Let's take a look at the potential based on previous cycles. 2017 cycle shows that we could be reaching an impressive $33. 2021 cycle shows a lesser potential because we had a smaller breakout. We could see that same repeat would put us at $7.70. When we average these two, which I love that he does, he says we land around $20. Is this too much to ask for the XRP in this upcoming cycle? I don't believe that it is with everything that we know. But I will say, I believe in order for us to have a chance to see it, everything we just talked about here today has to go through. It can't stall, including the Clarity Act. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Listen, we're going into the Freedom Zone today, and it is going to be a heavy conversation. The Director of National Intelligence, former Democrat, has come out now and really said and made the case that a former president has weaponized the government. And the question now is, does it rise to the level of treason? I hope you'll join us. Click the join button under the title of any video, or simply go down in the description box and click to join the Patreon. Same price, same perks, every video, 0 Google ads, and the extra content that we're about to get into right now that you're going to want to know about. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're going into the Freedom Zone. Come on in.